Hey, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Jamal 4 here once again, back to our old form, our old ways. Feels like I haven't done videos like this in such a long time. It feels good. I needed a break, and I've been waiting to find a good reason to come back because we know, everybody knows, those especially other content creators know what's going on with YouTube. And I've already talked about the other situation I've been trying to get together. So I'm just got to find a way to do a happy medium because I can't just stop no more. I've tried to stop multiple times and it doesn't work. So here we are, back again, praying. Welcome. Oh, Happy New Year, by the way. I hadn't talked about that yet either. Happy New Year. So 2018, we about to get some stuff popping off. And we go, and what a way to start off with a new season of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Now, I have to admit, I saw like a, what do they call it? Is it a super trailer, preview, or what have you, like maybe a month or so ago of Miami, and I was looking at some of the people in it, and I'm like, okay, but for some reason, at least in that particular trailer, it didn't look like it was gonna be the best thing going. So I was kind of going into this like, okay, Trina, of course we're excited to see Trina. Of course, you know, especially those who are familiar with like my other Miami artists like Trick Daddy, we're excited to see them too. But in the back of my mind at the time, I'm thinking like, this could be like a Keisha Cole situation where Keisha Cole going on the last season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, and we thought it was gonna be something big, but Keisha did nothing the whole season. Absolutely nothing. So I'm like, I don't know if Trina's gonna try to take that same route. But after watching this episode, my idea for this show has completely changed. And I was gonna come up on here and be like, I'm only gonna review episodes that are good, but so far, this all looks good. So we're gonna be here every week. So let's go ahead and get started. The episode starts off with Amara La Negra, okay? This is the Dominican / Latina. And mind you, this girl is gorgeous. She is fine, 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 fine. She has big, beautiful eyes. She has this, you know, curly, you know, ethnic hair. She has the body yaddy yaddy. Has perfectly pearl white teeth. I'm just like, yes, this is it. This is it. So she is a Latin artist who's upcoming, but is trying to cross over into the American market. You know, if you get, you know, the American money, you know, you can definitely. Oh, sorry, I got a notification. Child, that shit threw me off completely. But yeah, she's trying to cross over so she can get her name out there. You know, do better for her family. Like most, you know, artists want to be able to put their parents in retirement for sacrificing to make their dreams come true, etc., etc. Now, she meets with this producer named Young Hollywood. And of course, whenever producers come on screen on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they have to talk about, well, not Atlanta, but Miami, or any Love and Hip Hop franchise, they say, oh, I'm the best in the city. If anybody wants to record, they have to come through me, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, whatever, we'll see. And on the first meeting, I have to see, how do I say her name? Is it Amara or Amara? I think it's Amara. I'm going to go with that. Amara brings her mom. Now, her mom, you know, I guess she came from was the one that came from the Dominican Republic? Or Latin, I'm not sure. But they came over about 20 years or so. So, you know, she gave up everything. Her mother is the one that, I don't believe she speaks any English, so she only speaks Spanish. And, you know, if you know, one thing I know about the Latino community or the Latin community in general, Hispanic or whatever, is that they are very, very family oriented. Their families, more often than not, are tight like this. Like they will put each other over anybody else, which is generally how most families work. Even, I mean, that's, well, I was about to say the black community. We love each other sometime, but, you know, we're going to go there. But anyways, she brings her mom to the meeting, and the producer, Young Hollywood, was kind of thrown off. But to me, it just seems like it shouldn't necessarily change much, because if you're conducting business and you're doing it in a professional way, I don't necessarily see why her bringing her mom is making any big of a difference. You know, and what the hell are you doing? The damn dog in the background act already. First video of the year, you acting up. But yeah, he said that was kind of awkward. I don't really necessarily see the problem with it. Her mom seems funny to me. Like, she said she thought he was Lil Wayne. so far, she's cute. I like her. Next, we get to Gunplay is his name, and his girl Kiara. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all a pet peeve of mine. Y'all see him? A pet peeve of mine is to see these men with these dreads that look like a giant SOS pad is just growing from the back of their heads, and it looks alive. Like it's a leech feeding and hosting on your body. I never understood the appeal of that look. Like, whenever I thought about when neat dreads, this is what I envision. This is what I like to see. No, I don't like the free form. Like, I can't think of a single person that made the free form dread look appealing. And the only person who I almost sort of kind of let that slide with was The Weeknd. And even after that, I was like, when he cut it off, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. He looks 10 times better. So it doesn't work for this Gunplay child, whatever. But I just like, you know, we're just gonna let him do what he want to do. He meets up with Trick Daddy, and he talks about how he wants to get this music together. Anybody who works in Miami in music has to go through Trick Daddy and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Trick Daddy, you wrong for having them gold teeth in that confessional. That is going to distract me all season. I hope he changes that. I hope it's not like that all season. But I don't think they usually change confessional looks throughout the whole season. But that's going to be distracting. Oh my, it makes, because he's darker and he has like the dark gold on his teeth, it doesn't make it look like it's gold, like it's purposeful. It looks like horrible plaque and tooth decay. That's what it looks like. And it's just not, no. Anyways, we get reintroduced to Shay, aka Bucky. And shout out to my girl Forest Rocks. I know she's gonna be calling her Bucky in her hair in all these reviews, and I'm gonna be so here for it. I'm so excited. But Bucky is back. She's talking about she done moved to Miami after being dumped by Scrappy. How many seasons ago in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was that? That was like season 3 or something like that. But Bucky and her hair is back. She moved down to Miami to be with Pleasure P from Pretty Ricky. And I don't now, when Pretty Ricky was out like around what, 2005, I want to say? Because I was a freshman in high school when Grind With Me was coming out. And we was like, what, 13, 14, talking about grinding on each other. We ain't done nothing what we was talking about. Bless our hearts back then. But that was my song. That was the jam. I'm not gonna lie, that was the jam last year. Last year, child. That was the jam about a good smooth, what, 10, 12 years ago? So, I don't think I realized that Pleasure P was with Pretty Ricky. I don't think I realized that. I remember when he came out, maybe 3 years after that, when he went solo and had that song, I Did You Wrong, and something, Go Under, I think that was the song. Go under, something like that. It was cute. I liked it though. But I don't know if I realized that he was with Pretty Ricky. But either way it goes, he wants to reunite Pretty Ricky. And that, I'm like, is this guy like the Escape thing where they want to get together for one last tour, one last album, and just to make money off of like, what is the word? When you're trying to remember something fondly? Nostalgic. There it is. hit me. I'm like, I mean, I guess, but who are the rest of the members? I did not know. The only person who I knew solely from Pretty Ricky at the time when they were Pretty Ricky was Spectacular, for obvious reasons. Y'all remember Spectacular back in the day was like the one, well, probably like one of the, I guess, sex symbols that I can think of, like early on, like early, right around the, when did Usher come out? Usher came out like what, 99, 97? I can't remember now. I'm about to lose my black card for not knowing that. But he was one of the early ones that I really remember like fondly, was Spectacular doing all the crazy stuff that Spectacular was doing on the internet back in the day, which led to some rumors. But anyways, Shay, or Bucky in her hair, is not here for the group. She's basically like, oh, Pleasure P is the one who did all the work. He's the superstar. He's the reason why these people are going to have careers in the first place, blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily know how true that is. Now, mind you, I always wonder, like, how these artists who were, like, really big in, like, the early millennium, like, between 2000 and 2000, I guess 8 or 9 or whatever, which is really when they had like their big success, even as a group and as a solo star for him. I wonder what they do to sort of keep income coming in over that time, because we haven't heard, or at least I may not be aware of anything that Pleasure P has worked on since like 2008, 9, maybe 10. So I mean, has he been producing? He's probably been writing or something. Like, he has to have been doing something behind the scenes to still live this lifestyle that he's been living. And so, I guess they're together. They're trying to put this group back together for nostalgical purposes or whatever. We'll see. Now, moving on to the next part. There's always that one person in each of these reality show casts that is so intolerable and just gives out the worst version of a stereotype of a group of people. And lately they've been my people. Like with D. Smith, we thought she was going to come and give a grand, entry into, the world of transgender people and give this education, and she did none of that. When Milan and the rest of them came on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 2, thought it was going to be this big breakout thing for LGBT people, they did none of that. And here we are, Love and Hip Hop Miami, with Bobby Lights. I am not going to be able to take Bobby Lights this season. I want to say he could grow. Now, before I say that, last season in Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, I was saying the same thing about Zell Swag, but Zell grew on me later on. I don't see Bobby growing on me later on. I see his full colors right here on this first episode. It's all I needed to see. It's all I needed. No. He comes on screen. First of all, he came on screen and I thought he was James Charles. He came on screen and I thought he was James Charles, the YouTube makeup guru, and I was about to turn off my screen. I was about to be like, nope, we're not doing it. Absolutely not. I draw the line right here. Okay, but it wasn't him. He's a gay rapper trying to be out and fine. Now, it would be nice to have an out gay rapper in music just to sort of break that hyper masculine, viewpoint or perspective of what hip hop is. But there just hasn't been one to really I'm trying to find the words. I am struggling to just not say it outright. Nobody has been able to just not be that messy version of the LGBT community to be taken seriously in a space like hip hop, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I've come across a lot of talented gay rappers, but their personalities never can match with their music, usually. So he is, what we find out later on, Trina's first cousin. When I thought they was talking about, oh, we're cousins, I'm thinking like, 2-3 times removed, like my play cousin. Like, no, they have actually the same blood running through their veins. So I'm like, oh, okay. So Trina and Trick Daddy are doing a performance of that Nan Ho song, which is my jam. I love that song. And whenever I think of Trina, that's usually the first song that comes in my head. That and Look Back at It. And Pull Over. We gonna go down Trina's whole discography. The Bat, we ain't gonna do it. But they doing that song, and he's trying to get into the after party, and the guy's like, you are not on the list. He's like, but I'm my cousin, I'm just that and the fourth, I'm Bobby Lights, blah, blah, blah. The bouncer's like, you're not on the guest list, you're not on the VIP list, you're just not here. He's trying to spell it out like L-Y-T, you're not on the list. No matter how many times you try to spell out your name, you are not on this list, sir. So he finally gets into the after party, or gets to where Trina is. And first of all, Trina is I'm gonna love Trina this whole series. I'm so excited to see her. And her assistant. Her assistant looks so familiar. I don't know where I feel like I've seen him. Has he been on TV before? I don't know. Somebody tell me. But Trina and her assistant just collectively, when Bobby walked in, they just get a collective, that when somebody that you don't like enters your space, she's like, hey, Bobby. And he starts going off, doing all this extra stuff, just doing the most. I'm just like, okay. Getting mad, like, why you don't just support my music career? I'm always doing everything for you, this, that, and the fourth. And right away, I completely understood, without Trina even saying anything, why she probably doesn't fuck with him like that. Because they had video footage of him, I guess a year or so ago. They were out with her girls or whatever. And he got into this big fight with, I guess, Alvin, the assistant. And he just has a record of turning up on close people within Trina's camp. So if you doing all this and you causing all this drama for me and my brand, and this is how I make my money, I'm not about to keep you around messing up stuff that's going to mess up my money. So the fact that, she even allowed him to come back there is a privilege. And she said, you are so loosely invited. You are barely invited to this event. I don't care who you are. We could be brother and sister. If you are causing me issue and drama and are potentially getting in the way of my coins, I'm not about to try to keep you around. Shoot. So I completely understood where they was coming from with that. So now, next scene is when Pretty Ricky actually get together. Now, I thought that they were going to... For some reason, I did not think I was going to actually get to see all of the Pretty Ricky members. I thought they were just going to talk about it through the season, but never actually do it, because Love and Hip Hop is good for that. I thought they were just going to talk about it, but not actually do it. And when all of them came up on screen, and I saw Spectacular, I died, because I had a deja vu moment of just all those internet videos back in the day of him doing the most, of all this hip rolling and all this extra stuff, and just... And the way he looks now, he looks thin to me. He doesn't look you shouldn't look the same after 12 years, but I don't know. If I saw him before I knew that was him, I wouldn't have known it was him, if that makes sense. But either way it goes, they all look, well... I was about to lie. I was about to say they all look good. What's that boy name? Slick, yeah. Slim, Slick. What that boy name that looked like he was something out of Whoville with his head going up and out like a sprout of a plant or something? Him, and he too had the Trick Daddy gold teeth that looked like tooth decay going on. And the other young round gentleman who was doing a lot of the yelling when they got back together. Like, as soon as they started talking about getting back together, he started reminiscing about, oh, I used to do this. I used to record this in the studio. I used to do the ABC, LMNOP, da 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 da. And we're just like, look, this is literally the reason why we broke up. You're literally you just pushed pause on the drama from 12 years ago and pushed play on it in 2017/18. That ain't what we here for. We here to make this coin. All right? So I need you to, everybody's going to be responsible for the group. Everybody's going to pitch in. There's going to be no slack this time. And, you know, they was able to kind of come back together and get back up on the same page. I'm just like, oh, okay. So, with the next scene, Amara La Negra meets again with young Hollywood without her mom. And this goes even further left than the first meeting, because he says that, you know, he likes to be, when he's a producer, he likes to be really hands-on and likes to give like an overall artistic development with the image and the music. And he told her that, her image needed to be adjusted. And any natural person is going to wonder, okay, well, what kind of adjustments do you mean? You know, because she says she's Afro-Latina, so she's, you know, half black, half Latin, or like half Hispanic or whatever. And so this is just how she looks. She's dark-skinned, she's Latina, she speaks fluent Spanish, and this is just her judge. He says that she should be more like Beyonce and less like Macy Gray. And I'm like, now wait. What we will not do is do Macy Gray, because Macy Gray is secretly everything. I live for a good Macy Gray song, okay? And he tried so hard to clean it up. He tried so hard to make it seem not as bad as it really was. He was like, oh, well, you know, if you can use the afro for like a music video or two, like real soul sister, power to the people. But like, you see how Beyonce, how she did it in Austin Powers, where she had the afro, but then she could go on the red carpet and look real elegant in a gown and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, so you mean to tell me that I can't look elegant in an afro? And he was like, well, yeah. And I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. We're not about to do this. We are not about to play these games. And of course she gets offended. And I think he like slick called her a Nutella queen or something like that. And I'm just like, all right. I see where this is going. Like, I honestly see it for Amara La Negra, with her aesthetic as being a curvy, darker skinned girl who is Latina, because that would bring interest. I feel like it brings interest to her, you know, her aesthetic, because it's like, I'm sure there are people like her, and she can bring, you know, the African American community along with the Latin community and be a liaison between the two. I don't see what's wrong with that. And the fact that he's trying to basically change her to sort of fit more of a European style of beauty is a little annoying, because not every female artist needs to look and be Beyonce or Jennifer Lopez, or just nobody. We keep trying to recreate the same person over and over again, but what they don't realize is like the pioneers in music, like nobody was like them. Like, what made them so iconic was that there was nobody else like them before, and they were filling a void that nobody else was tailoring to. So if you keep trying to make the same type of artist, how are we, the consumer, supposed to pick which one we like? We just need to pick one to satisfy our need for that particular style of music. But we can go on and on about that, you know, that conversation. But needless to say, her and him are not going to work out musically or any other kind of chemistry. So, let's talk about how Shay comes to this concert, okay? Pretty Ricky books the show, and they are doing Grind With Me, and it looked so awkward to see these grown men. I don't know why. I don't know how old they are. I want to say they may be they're later than their early 40s. But the way that they was doing that choreography on that stage did not look like something appropriate for a men of a certain age. It's just like you're trying to be like super sexy for people who are grown now. Like I don't know. It just looked weird to me. It looked I was laughing. But Shay comes, and because she's so team Pleasure P and anti everybody else, she comes and it's like, well, I'm here for Pleasure P and my support of my man, not necessarily the group, this, that, the fourth, whoop-de-whoop. And what's that boy name? What did I put? Did I write down what his name was? Because I can't remember the baby's name. Pleasure P. What is that boy's name? Oh, Baby Blue Whoa. I don't know if that's really how that's the whole, does he just say the whole thing? Like, whoa, the whoa part too? We can't just call you Baby Blue? I'm calling you Baby Blue. So, Baby Blue, of course, was taking offense to this because he's trying to, say, hey, we all trying to do a positive thing here. Here you come doing all this extra stuff, saying all this stuff. Which, I mean, she is basically going off of what they've done to him in the past. Okay? And she is looking at him a little crazy because, like, why would you work with these people who have done all these things to you? But what Shay has to understand is she probably only knows about what we know as a public, like the perception of what was going on within the group. And this man actually knew these men. He, had a different relationship with these men. Of course, when people are together in the groups, they fight or whatever, but you were able to grow. Like, mind you, that was over a decade ago. Okay? People grow up. People mature. So if they want to come together and do this because they've been able to mend their relationship over the years, you have to let them. They're grown. They're grown men. Just because you may not even know the full story, okay? You weren't there. You just now coming into the picture. And so when her and Baby Blue go get into it, she's now looking at Pleasure P crazy because Pleasure P's just kind of sitting there kind of frustrated at the fact that she's even here starting this drama when they're trying to do a good thing. And she knows that he's trying to do a good thing. So he's a little irritated at her for coming up in here starting all this additional drama. But she's mad at him because, like, why ain't you saying nothing? Why ain't you defending me? And I swear, either she said it in this episode, no, I think that's an upcoming episode where she's like, well, Scrappy would never let a man disrespect me the way you let them disrespect me. I'm like, oh no. I can see this relationship is already going down the toilet, okay? Because you never compare your ex to your current. You never do that. That is asking for trouble. Never, ever should you do that. But, baby, I already see how that's going to go. But lastly, Bobby meets with his friend Miami Tip, who is apparently another mutual friend of Trina, to lunch. And they're all sitting there, and Bobby and Miami Tip come in. And, of course, again, Trina and her assistant Alvin give that unified eye roll again whenever he walks in. And, of course, they start with one another. Jab here, shade thrown here, there, everywhere. Reads are thrown back and forth until Alvin just says, basically, you wish that you could have my spot in Trina's life, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you're jealous of me because I actually have blood, and that's what you will never have with Trina, and that's nothing for. And Trina's like, look, we ain't even here for all of that. We didn't even try to be here for all of that. And then Alvin says, you're beneath me, and you will always be beneath me. And Bobby was like, okay. All right, just threw a glass at that man's head. I feel like Alvin was ready. Because he knew. They bucked and done this multiple times, so he probably already knew how Bobby works. And when he got up and threw that glass, it felt like he threw the glass and it cracked on his skull. That was he either missed and hit the table or it hit his skull, and that glass was very fragile. or he has a very hard head. One of the two. I couldn't really tell what happened. But Trina took Bobby outside in the back, and he's trying to express his frustration, like, why do I have to deal with your minions every time I want to speak with you, and this, that, and the fourth, and blah, blah, blah. She's like, these are the people that work for me. These are the people who keep my brand going, thus keeping my coins in my bank account. And so they know how to act accordingly. But whenever you, specifically you, come around and do what it is you know you do, things become a problem because you stir the pot. You are the common denominator, the issue here. And he's like, well, you know, I've never done anything to you. I've always supported you. And she's like, yes, you have. But what you have to realize is you can't bring drama to me and expect me to support you. You have to act the right way and act accordingly for me to put my brand and my name on the line for you. And it's really just that simple. His issue with Trina is very easily fixed. It can be very easily fixed. All he has to do is grow up. He's so used to just turning up and getting fight. Like, some things you just have to let go. You can't fight every single battle. Okay? But this, and then there's going to be another relationship. I guess that Bobby is in with some dude, and the dude is like with his ex. It looks like it's going to be good. This looks like it is going to be so good, and I cannot wait. I hope you guys, you know, those of you who are still here, I know some of y'all have drifted away because I haven't done reviews in a while, but I am still going to do my my horror recaps because those are really fun. I'm about to record one right after this, in fact. So thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, you have to do this whole bell thing now. So if there's, by the subscribe button, press the little bell so you'll be actually notified in case the subscription box be really janky. So, but thank y'all so much for supporting and watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.